Hello again, my friends. Once more, welcome to the cellar. Welcome to Leopard Street. The cellar with a working magnetic uncoupler. I've shown it. I've talked about it. This one, I've installed it, tested it. So today, that's what we're going to be having a little look at. We're going to start off with a little bit of a running session because I had to shunt a load of trains around. So we're going to do that. That's going to get sped up so you can watch that because that took about 20 odd minutes to do. So yeah, I'm going to speed that up a little bit and chop a few bits out where there's nothing being visible. Then we're going to have a look at this. Putting it in, cutting the hole, wiring it up, testing it. Magnetic uncoupler for KaDee couplings. Working. Stick around. This is Leopard Street. Yeah, just a quick one before we start. Let's move my other camera stand out of the way again. So, yes. Anyway, yeah, bit more platforming in, which is starting to look a little bit better now. Thank you all for the feedback I had on the water cranes. They are now going to be platform-mounted ones. I'll sort something else out further down. Water tower that aren't staying there. I've just moved them up a little bit. I have had a little bit of post. We have some pre-wired LEDs, red ones, green ones. This is where I said I was going to be making a control panel, which I'm going to be doing. Somewhere around here there is a bag where Mr. AliExpress have been very naughty. Let's have another look at another one first. Push buttons. They'll light up when I get around to connecting them, which obviously I haven't at the moment. Some of these little cable idents. Now, I don't normally use cable idents. These came up on Amazon as a freebie to do a review on. So I've got hold of some. See how they go. There's a few other bits that turned up a while ago. I've printed some more mounts for various boards. And what I'm looking for, there is a bag on here somewhere. If I can find it, which I don't think I can actually. It's a bit weird. I'll put it on here. Here we are, right in front of me. 74 HC595 shift registers. Naughty. These should be in an anti-static bag, which that isn't, and should really be shoved into a piece of polystyrene, which they're not. So a load of them have got bent pins. Annoying. Yeah, anyway, that's for another day. I'm not playing with the control panel stuff today. I'm not even going to be playing with the platforms. I need to make a wider one. I've got to print a few more of. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna have a play with these things. I may end up redoing them into a slightly different shape and size, but these are about what I need. Basically, just to put a pattern on the top of them and drains, gutters, tiles, what have you. These are going to get painted for now, though. I need to make a different one for here. Well, actually, I need to make a different one for this. I'm going to print another off. I need to make a different one for this end here because it don't have a wall there. I need to do a wall and some of the tiling around here. They're going to get painted. I was going to use the Metcalf ones. However, they come with white edge strips. That was started apparently in World War II. So late 1930s, early 1940s. This is a 1930s layout. I sort of could get away with it, but I think I'm not going to. So for now, these are going to be grey, a lighter grey stony colour on the edges. Not sure about down here. It may get like a brick card or something, but what I have done is stick some of them together. There are some wagons up here. There's going to be another video coming up. These are the Dapple wagons that love to derail when you look at them. I don't know how easy it is to see on here, but they wobble like crazy as they move. So they're going to get redone. And do some stuff with those. Anyway, on with the meat of the video. So what we have, I'm going to be putting in this. This is one of my little uncouplers. I've shown this before. There's magnets under that bit, and obviously that bit moves. There's a brass rod in there as a pivot, and it's going to go about there. The coaling stage, bring that back up, is going to go around here somewhere. Not exactly sure where, but around here. This is for KaDee couplings. It won't work with the tension locks. It will work with the KaDees, which I'm going over to. It's got to go under the track. So basically, I've got to fit these before I can put the track down, even though I don't have that many KaDee wagons yet. KaDees support delayed uncoupling. So the wagon will uncouple here, and then the loco can clear off. I could move it down here a little bit and put this up. Or I could leave that there and put the coaling stage up here somewhere. This is the thing I need to work out, is where this is going. The coaling stage needs to be on the straight. So if I have it straight to about there, that's about fine. That's enough space to call that a pathway. So do that. That can go where I've marked out. Mark some holes and drill that. And then there's a servo to go underneath it. The goal of today is not to spend ages waffling about this. The goal of today is to actually get on with it. So I have marked on here where I want the uncoupler to be, UC, and some markings. So what I need to do is undo that. And here I have UC. Now I'm going to have to do a little bit more marking out. This is going over here a little bit. Before I do this, however, this is obviously going to involve drilling. We're going to run a couple of trains because I've got a train under there. Now these are actually my KaDee equipped wagons. So I want to get that one to the station. And there's the van train lurking behind it. So I'm going to set up to shift those two out of the way. And then we'll see what we're doing. I'm going to bring the class 20, so the J26 up here somewhere. Doesn't really matter where for now. I'm then going to put the Q6 with the vans, just the usual sort of parking place over there. So I'm going to set up and we're going to move a few trains. Okay, plan. I'm going to let the trains do this because, frankly, that's what I've got them for. But I'm going to show you it sped up because otherwise it'll take too long. So what I need to do, I need to shift the D49. That's going to come over here. I need to shift those wagons out of there and put them on that road, which will help. I need to move the Scotsman just onto the adjacent road. I might as well turn it and prepare it for service while I'm doing that. Basically, I need the arrival road clear to bring the coal train into, and then I'm going to have to do some shuffling around. I want to keep this platform road here clear as well because I'm going to be using that to get in and out of the area. So, we shall speed up, on with the show. I'm driving this manually. The box with the knobs I can twiddle. The flashing knobs, if you remember that particular program, is upstairs currently, so I'm going to be doing this by hand. So, without further ado, I'll go into high speed mode, cue a little bit of music, because what's a YouTube video without annoying music, and off we go. that's a small running session. Yeah. About 15-20 minutes. Just to shunt some trains around. So, next step, before I go any further, is just marking this out exactly where it needs to be. So, to do that, I need to make sure I've got this bit straight, which is going to be the centre line. Ruler out of the way. Now, this is going to go here. So I've got some screw holes that will sit on said centre line. Draw that either side. And then a few little markings there, which will show me where the cutout needs to be. It's that. And that's that. So that's the bit that's coming out. So what I need to do is stop the video for a sec. I'm going to clear away a lot of junk off this board here, because obviously this board's going to have to come out. That board's going to have to go that way, which is fine. Shift this stuff out of the way. I'll just put those down there for now. That's out of the way. Obviously the turntable's not here. That's upstairs, but having paint applied to it. What I'm going to have to do is drill some holes in those corners. That'll mark it onto the plywood. There's nothing underneath it. There's no trains under there now. I'm then going to cut this out with initially a knife to cut the cork and the foam, then buzzy saw. So, without further ado, I'm going to remove that piece of track because it's not needed. And I'm going to switch the layout off because I do not need that powered up while I'm doing this. Right, that's everything powered down. Yeah, I'll be back in a minute when I've done some clearing. Right, goggles on. I've cleared that off. I've set this servo up. It will sit under there. I have to glue that back on. A bit of plastic has just flown off the end, which is holding the hinge in place. So I'll do that in a minute. I'm going to drill the holes first. So what I need to do, as I said, is drill the four corners of this. I'm using a 4mm drill bit. To be honest, it doesn't matter. All I'm really doing is marking the wood. And there. That's it for drilling. Right, what I need to do, unplug the drill. I need the socket in a sec for the buzzy saw. However, before I do that, get this out of the way. And put that over there because I'm going to go around there to sort everything else out in a minute. This bit just needs cleaning. More so I can see what I'm doing than anything else. I now need a kniff and my steel ruler. So this comes on here. I can just run it through to the wood. Obviously this isn't going to cut through the wood. Don't care, it doesn't have to. This is going to get eventually a piece of plastic put over the top of it. Basically because there's going to be gaps around the side of this, and when I come to ballast it, I don't want stuff falling through the gaps, so I'm going to put a lid over the top of it using some thin plastic sheet and a bit of glue. So that should let me lift this up out of the way, depending how well glued down this bit is, of course. If it's just my luck, this is one of the bits that's actually got glue on it. I'll do it that way. There we go. Yep, that bit had glue on it. Oh, doesn't matter. So I can just come in here like this, use that as a chisel, and then we can just check that fits, which it does, because that's obviously going to go through on the other side. Right. I had to find where that little bit of plastic went and stick it back on. So I should be back in a sec. Okay, back with Mr. Buzzy Sauce. So let's give this a go. Should be able to just do this quite easily, I hope. That's one side done. Find out in a minute if it's the right size, but we'll see. Well, children, that was loud. Yeah. Just need to see whether this is going to fit. Hopefully the super glue has not welded itself completely to the thing, but there we go. Question is, does that fit in there? If it doesn't, I'm going to have to make... It's going in this way. It makes more sense to try it from this side. Needs to be a little bit longer. So, just going to go at that with a file, because sometimes these are easier. Round again. Bit more. I need to make it slightly wider as well. So there we go. This side here is not quite where I marked it, but never mind. Well, actually, these side caps probably aren't actually needed. It'll be held in place quite nicely by the wood when it's finished. So that's going to go into the hole. Check again whether it comes up through the bottom. A little bit more. Nearly. Getting there. And I don't mind this because I'd rather this be a little bit tight and file it than too big. And push comes, I've actually got a bigger file than that, or a better, a coarser file, but I think it'll do. I need to make sure the flap will drop freely, which at the moment it's not. I suspect it might have got a bit of glue on it somewhere I didn't necessarily want it, but oh, there we go. Comes out quite nicely with that attached. Try again. Right. Now the beauty of this is, before I screw that into place, I can test it. So I don't need buzzy saw anymore, so I'll unplug that. Partly because the cable is in the way, but there we go. Right, so that's where that's going to go. It's going to get some screws put on the bottom of it. It'll sit there. It's going to get that shoved over the top, which will then be painted. What I now need is a piece of track. In fact, let's get Mr. Mr. New on here. I've got a lot more to clean on the lower deck, but I thought I might as well get rid of the bulk of it. Right, so I'm going to do, I'm not powering the layout up just yet. I do plan on doing some power on testing with this shortly. So that is going to sit there. Don't need to plug that in, but that's correct. I'm going to grab a couple of wagons with KaDees, which we have here. Now, first test, these should roll straight over without any problems. It's because the uncoupler is down. I put that in its up position. I can do that, and I can push it a little bit further. Go there, grab it back, pull back over. So now loco comes in like so. KaDee, and can just push to there and then clear off. I'm calling that a success. Right, so put those wagons back over there. Clear this out the way, clear that out the way. The next step, which I'm going to do, I'll just turn the camera, I'll finish this. Clear this up. This board's got to come out and go onto the desk. This is going to get screwed in place. I'm going to screw the servo in place. The driver mechanism for the servo is already here. I'm hoping that wire is going to be long enough. It'll just be annoying if not. So I'll catch you again in a sec at the desk. So here we are on the underside of the board. I could run a file around the edges of that. I don't particularly feel the need to. There's got 3 written on the bottom of it because it's the 3rd prototype of one of these things I made. So that needs screwing into place. It's got 2 little holes printed into it to have screws put through. So this should not be a huge job. This should be a remarkably quick job. I was going to add the lighting board tonight as well, but bearing in mind how long the running session took, I'm giving that a miss. So I'll screw these in here. Now, I've said a few times, this thing is a test. If this one works, I've got a fair few others of these I need to do. So I just need to make sure that is still smooth on the other side. And this has actually been made so it's the same thickness as the ply, the XPS and the cork. It's about 8mm high. And that is actually surprisingly smooth. The idea was so I can have it flush mounted, obviously. This now goes here. I just need to make sure I've got this on the right location. The idea is this sits here. This little actuator arm rubs on that bit and can push it up and let it drop down. It's in its midpoint because that just makes life simple. This, incidentally, is a friction fit into its little mounting. I may come to regret that at some point, but for now it's a friction fit. If it comes loose, I'll glue it. But that goes there. Or it will in a sec. Cable don't fit. Never mind. I've got extension leads for it. So that can sit there. Get another screw. Hold this in. And the whole thing's actually quite low profile. It's much lower profile than the point motors, even when the flap, so to speak, is deployed. So this can move down. That drops. That probably is going to come out. In fact, that is, yeah, I'm going to have to put, I think what I'm going to do is add a dab of glue to that to hold that in place. And then when I build more, I'll make it so the bit at the top is a little bit higher and it goes in and it goes click. So I'm going to glue that. I'm going to find the extension lead for that because that's going to have to come around here and go into there. And then I shall return. Okay, that's got a bit of cheap super glue on it now, so it's going to route its cable. And as with other cable routing, it's possible this may end up having to change at a later date. Somewhere around here I've got some cutters. Track cutters will do. Not quite the cutters I was after, but frankly they'll cut a tie wrap, so I can cope with that. Incidentally, my bag of tie wraps went absolutely everywhere earlier, that was fun. Ian at Training Thought has a solution, and I think I'm going to try it next time I open one. He says cut the middle of the bag, cut a slit. You can reach in and grab them, which he demonstrated quite amply, but they won't fall out. Whereas I cut the end off the bag because I'm an idiot, and lo and behold, when I picked the bag up, they all fell out. So yeah, so that then goes to there because this will be servo number 2. Now I'm going to be controlling this as if it's a point actually. Now they need another little clip into there. I was sort of thinking, how do I control these things? Obviously, I've got a servo controller here, so I'm going to use that. Do I tell it it's a different type of thing? Do I modify the code so it thinks it's talking to something else? No, what I'm going to do is say it's a point. It's very simple. Now, what that means is I'm going to have to decide is thrown that and it's closed that, or vice versa. I think I'm going to have closed and thrown because all the other points, straight is closed and the angle is thrown. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I am going to have to set the software up for this because at the moment, obviously, it doesn't know this thing exists, so it doesn't know how far it has to move it or anything like that. Right. That should do. I can dangle a little bit, I'm not too bothered by that. And that should, and if that isn't famous last words, I don't know what is, should be that. So I can now refit this board. I've got to hoover up mess. I'm going to clean that. I'm going to give the track a wipe down as well because frankly, while I've got the lid off, I might as well. And I'll be back in a minute. Okay, there's the thing installed. Control is still a tad manual. That is in its open position. So thrown, close, lifts up, thrown again, comes back down. So the next thing we need to do is test it. So I'll take you out of that stand, which has just bitten me, but such is life. Like these are the hazards I have to face. I put the coal stage back. I'll move up here a little. This little marker here is about where the uncoupling point is. Now I have got my J26 with a couple of the coal wagons. So first off, I'm going to run over with this lowered back and forth, and we'll see it works quite normally. So first off, let's go back over it here. She's in shunting mode currently, so she's going to go a little bit slower than usual. Here we go, she comes back in, rolls over this basically as if there's nothing there, because at the moment, there's nothing there. And we'll come forward again. So see, we're still coupling. I have discovered one slight issue here. These Oxford rail wagons are remarkably free rolling. You'll see what I mean in a minute. She really rather does enjoy just pushing them. But anyway. Right, so the job now, close that. You can hear that move. What I want to do is go back and put one of those two wagons at the coal stage. So, I'm going to go back a little bit. And if you watch that forward coupler, you should see it move as it comes over. I just need to come back to the appropriate position here. Is about there. Should then be able to move forward just slightly. Yep, didn't quite get it. Okay, not uncoupled. I think it has gone up. I've probably not put her back into the right place, so let's try that again. Yeah, I've got a little bit, the perspective where I am is a little bit off. There we go. That uncoupled, you saw the wagon move, so I should now be able to push back a little bit further. And this should use the delayed uncoupling. There we go. Disable the uncoupler because I need to go in and get the wagon again now. So we go backwards again. And we come forwards. This is where this is where the problem comes. What she's actually doing is just this is not the uncoupler working now. This is just literally these wagons being so free rolling that they're just getting pushed along. But she just like that couples up and can come forward. If I have to manually do this, I've got some other wagons which I'm going to do this with eventually. What I'll probably do is have a couple of coal wagons where the wheels move a bit differently. But there we go. Let's try it again. This time what I'm going to do is drop both wagons off, because I want to see if that works as well. So we'll go back with the coupling over the first one without uncoupling. I will close it once that junction is passed, and then we'll see how we go. And there we go. Leave the two of them. Disable the uncoupler again. And we'll come back and try and grab another. Try and see if I can grab them this time. I'll come back a little bit quicker, maybe. Nope, she's still pushing them. A few more wagons, she'll do it, but never mind. So let's drag her forward again, just a little bit. But that, ladies and germs, is remote control uncoupling with KaDee couplers and magnets. So the only thing I need to do now is put that over the top, glue it, let the glue dry, then that'll need painting grey, and that'll be invisible. That works. The conclusion off the back of that is I can now tell my printer, drag these out of the way again, grab a shunting mode, off at a slightly more decent speed. Yeah, so I can now start printing a few more of these. I need quite a few. Basically, anywhere I need to uncouple things, there's going to be one of these. So if we just scroll up slightly, and we'll come down here. Start on the road she's on to start with. Right. About here. If I just... That should be right. Around here somewhere, so coaches can be left in the parcels bay. By default, I mean, the delayed uncoupling, I can uncouple them and push them down, or I can just leave them here and shunt them later. Easy. That's one. This arrivals platform, well, the departure platform rather, will need one around here somewhere, so the shunter can come in, drop the coaches off. The arrival platform doesn't need one this end. We're going to come all the way down here. The arrival platform does, because I can use it to depart. The arrival platform needs one at this end. The departure platform doesn't, because the train can never run into this. The suburban platforms need ones at that end and ones at that end, because they're bidirectional. That goods loop needs one around here, and it'll need some down there, but I need to get the points to work out exactly where they're going. The reason I want this, I can't fix these tracks down until they're in. So I'm going to print myself a load more of these off. I've got the magnets to make another 5, I think. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Make 5, work out where I'm going to install those 5. The idea is to try and get these platform roads in with droppers, this board join having its PCB sleepers and what have you, and cut. So that bit's fine. The next step, however, before I do that, I've got the infrared sensors to put on here so I can run trains in. Obviously, I've still got to work on the turntable. The idea is there's going to be 2, probably 1 around here somewhere on the inbound track, and 1 a bit further, maybe a bit further up around here somewhere. I can run a locomotive in until it goes, I've tripped that sensor, I'll stop. And I can have another one a little bit further up, so I can say, run up to the turntable, but don't go onto it. Do that. Then I'll drive on there manually. But that, my friends, is magnetic remote uncoupling. It works. I'm amazed it worked, but it works. So yeah, that goes over there. That'll cover that up. That'll get painted. I can then ballast over it. So that's it for this video. As usual, likes, comments, shares, whatever, more than welcome. I'm going to get the other version of this that the servo can clip into done, and then I will get that up on the Thingiverse page in case anybody else is remotely interested in this. As usual, I'll put the Blender file, so if you want to edit it, feel free. Yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you very much, and goodbye.